Jerry Bates, and I represent the North Carolina Speech, Language, and Hearing Association on the Professional Affairs Committee. And that's kind of Raleigh stuff. But here at home, I live in Clemens, and I run a speech-language pathology practice that employs over 80 speech-language pathologists who work with every possible age patient. With Peggy's daughter, we go into group homes. We go into adult workshop programs. We go into hospitals and help new babies learn how to eat because their mouths aren't strong enough to swallow. We go into homes and work with families who get absolutely no communication from their children and help those children communicate within their environment. And some of them will never communicate like you and I communicate, and they'll never necessarily be verbal or be able to interact in their families. But there are ways to communicate that don't involve language, and that's what speech-language pathologists do. We work with those babies, we work with preschoolers, we work with the school-age population, we work with adults who have head injuries, who have been in car accidents, who have had strokes, who have throat cancer, who have had their larynx removed. Adults who are older citizens who have strokes, who have some neurological involvement. We work with every population. And really, communication is one of the greatest gifts that each of us have. And it may not be the same for all of us, but it is indeed a huge gift. The budget that the House has proposed, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy actually made their own line item. How disappointing. And the line item says, eliminate PT, OT, and speech as an optional service in Medicaid. We deny that. We think that that is absolutely ridiculous. We believe that being able to function within your own environment, whether it's communication, walking, or being able to dress yourself, are very, very important skills. And we believe that if you eliminate those services, that ultimately the cost to the state of North Carolina will be much higher because these folks will be on the streets or they will be institutionalized, which are much higher. So, that being said, I also have a daughter who just finished her second year at Chapel Hill. And she went to Chapel Hill. She worked really, really hard in high school to get to Chapel Hill, and she got to Chapel Hill, and she's had to work really, really hard at Chapel Hill. And lo and behold, she came home this year and said, "Mom, I'm going to be a speech-language pathologist." I said, "Ooh, baby, I don't know, we might need to talk about this." But you know, my daughter has spent all day, the last 4 days, at home, calling her House representatives and saying, "I've worked really hard to get here. It's really important what I want to be able to do, and I don't want you to take away the funding." So we don't want to overlook our future while we're dealing with the current situation. So I think it's really important to also do what we're doing, but to pay it forward so that there is an awesome North Carolina still for our kids. But in the last 4 days, speech-language pathologists across the state, I'm sending out action alerts every day. We've made over 20,000 phone calls. We've sent over 40,000 emails. We've sent 8,000 written letters. And just today, I dedicated 4 of my administrative staffers in my office to call every patient that we serve at their home, tell them what the proposed budget eliminates, explain it to the family, and say, "Can I get your representative on my cell phone for you?" And just today alone, we made 176 connections with those families and their local representatives, because that's what matters. So I urge you, whatever it is that has brought you here and whatever concern you have, please engage the people that you serve to help you, because they're the constituents of the representatives too, and those numbers make a difference. And I think Elaine made a very, very good point when she talked about the federal stimulus dollars, because we get all excited when we say, "Woohoo, free money," right? Well, those federal stimulus dollars are match dollars in North Carolina, okay? So if the state spends $1 on services, then the federal government matches that $1 with $3. Well, guess what happens if the state doesn't spend that $1? Goose egg, nothing, okay? So when you eliminate, like HHS has done, $490 million in state health care services, the net impact to North Carolina and our citizens is $1.96 billion in health care services alone. So this is really, really important, and I urge all of you to act, because these services are very important. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marguerite Hutchison Rhodes. First of all, I'm a parent of a daughter with autism. She's a high school student going to a public separate school which does not yield a diploma. So these students already are kind of behind the fold as far as employment is concerned. My second hat is that I'm also a high school teacher at the exact same high school that she attends. And I work with significant disabilities, severe to profound classroom at the time. The reason why I come to you is to talk about the funding that every single one of the students at Carter Vocational High School benefits from. CAP services. I see Betty, and Betty is our CEO. Can I say that? Senator. It's wonderful that you're here. But my daughter is one of the lucky ones because she receives CAP services. If you're not familiar, CAP services is a Medicaid waiver program which allows individuals with disabilities to work on goals to become as independent as possible in their community. And again, she is one of the lucky ones. There's 580 of those lucky people in the Tri-County area. That's correct figures. I know that there is 600 plus people on the waiting list. These are people that are found eligible. People are dying as they wait on there. I have a neighbor who had a son with autism, classical autism, and he actually drowned because his grandparents were doing all that they could, but the kid was just a runner. You know, autism is something that we're going to be slapped with so hard, and you know, we're not ready today. I'm not even talking about the budget cuts. The programs, your program is a wonderful program, but there's a 5-year waiting list for that program, folks. Folks have to die before they can actually give up a spot, unfortunately. That's one of the very good programs in the area. There's only 3 others. There's not enough programs already just today without any kinds of cuts. There's not enough programs available for youth transitioning out into their community when they turn age 22. This is a sad day for everybody. I mean, I've been on the phone. I've asked my students' families to call. Carter Vocational High School will be represented to their legislators. We actually went there last year, and so now it's time to call in a couple of favors, I feel like. And there's everybody knows all the different things that are going on. But, it will be absolutely devastating, not just my family, but all the other families of the children that I serve. It's my work.